Well, I'm really delighted to be here in Maynooth today at the launch really of our year of prayer for vocations to the diocesan priesthood. We're very conscious of the need to encourage and inspire more young men to consider a vocation to the priesthood here in Ireland and beyond. And we were delighted today to welcome Archbishop Fisichella, who I think very beautifully situated the whole idea of vocation in the context of evangelization. I was very drawn to reflect on the words of St. Paul to the Romans, how beautiful are the feet of the ones who bring good news. And also where St. Paul said that really if we want to evangelize, people have to hear the good news, and if they have to hear it, then they have to have somebody to teach and to preach, and if they have to have that, then they have to have someone who is sent. So I think what we're trying to do during this year is to encourage more young people to take the risk for Christ, to really respond. And I'm delighted here to have so many people here. We have more than 100 people gathered of all ages and of all vocations themselves, and I think each one of us has the opportunity to speak positively about priesthood today. I'm often saying to my priests, don't be afraid to tell young people your own personal story of vocation, because it's that lived experience of vocation that inspires others. So yes, it's a difficult task nowadays with so many contrary messages, but we do indeed have something very precious. We have a treasure, yes, in earthen vessels, but we want to spread the good news and to encourage people to respond to Christ's call, follow me.
Well, we should remember that we are entering in a new culture, and this culture is the digital culture. People who have 20, 25 years, they were born with this culture, and the church cannot look on the other side. We are obliged to enter into the new culture, to know it, to discover it, and to try to understand how to evangelize within this culture.
Can I ask you a little bit about what you were saying about a good priest? What constitutes a good priest?
A good priest, first of all, good priest is not done by the human activities or by the human personality. A good priest is a man who is able to listen to the word of God. He is a man of prayer. He is a man who is able to share, first of all, the essential of the gospel. And this is the mercy of God. So our announcement should be close. It should be God is close to you. And the mercy of God is close to you, not to judge you, not to judge your life, but especially to understand you, to forgive you, and to love you.
But of course, here in Ireland particularly, we've had a context where there have been priests who have not lived up to the standard that you would expect of the calling around priesthood. Abuse has overshadowed. What are you saying to the Church in Ireland about how to reach out to give credibility to that calling when so many young people wouldn't even consider it?
Well, first of all, credibility is not done by ourselves. Credibility is done for what we announce. A great pope like Paul VI, he wrote in a document speaking on evangelization, Evangelii Nuntiandi. He wrote that people today doesn't like to listen, master. He prefer witnesses. And this is our task. First of all, we should not think on ourselves as a master, but as a witness. Witness of love and witness of forgiveness.
How much is safeguarding a part of evangelization?
Well, the evangelization is the nature of the church. We as a church, we could never be in ourselves if we not share the gospel. And the gospel is the new and the beautiful news given to the world of today. Don't forget, the world of today needs essentially hope. If we, Christians, we are not able to be witness of hope, what the world could do. It will be without hope, it will be distressed, distracted, never in many other things. And then you have disease, you have war, you have division, you have conflicts. If we are able to share the hope and the hope of the gospel with our personal witness, to look at the future with joy and with serenity, probably the world would be different.
Well, there's absolutely no doubt that the awful and horrific sins and crimes of people in the church has perhaps put people off thinking about the priesthood. There's also no doubt that even within families, it's difficult to talk positively about the church and about priesthood. But I still believe that there are people who want to spread the good news and who want to encourage their young people and indeed even members of their own family if they are considering a vocation to the priesthood. I do believe that despite all of the horrific sins and crimes of priests in the past, that we have wonderful young people and we have really good priests. I mean, I'm meeting good priests every day of my life. Even this year, I think, even where priests have been catapulted into the public view in a very positive way. I think of, for example, the priest who ministers in Creeslough in Donegal, who was there present for people in such a time of awful tragedy. I also was with the priest who was there whenever Private Sean Rooney was taken home from the Lebanon, and the way that he was able to relate to their families. Our priests are still loved in Ireland, and there are priests who exude that joy and happiness of being called to serve God. And that's really what we want to focus on. Despite all of the awful stories, there are also wonderful stories of selfless service, and that's what we want to spread and get out there.